in order to have your website up and going all the time. Now we can go to the database. Here we can create a database if we don't have. You can see we have SQL Azure recommended, MySQL, Cosmos DB, different type of things. Application, test, web app server, and so on. This is the name that it's actually using that we already had created. So it's just applying that in order to have like database behind it. Let's go to deployment. Here we can choose if we want to hook it up to GitHub account, which organization, and so on, which is nice because we can use like GitHub flow and so on. We can enable continuous deployment and we can change the account. Here it's totally fine to have this account. And we can choose an organization. Let's do this one, for example. And if we go down here, we can see repository. We do have a lot of repository. Where are these repositories coming from? You might ask. Well, if we go to github.com, you will see that these are actually coming from here. I'm just not logged in at this moment, but Azure is logged in. So that's why it's able to actually fetch all these different branches and repositories that we have here. So let's just click on test, I guess, if that's a repository we can use. Yeah, it's something I used for Flutterflow, but you can also go ahead and create your own repository for this, just for testing purposes. Let's just log into our GitHub account, just so we see this process. Okay, we are logged in, so we can go ahead and click on create a repository in your repositories right here. That means that we can go up here, click on new, create repository, testing purposes, YouTube, for example. And that's it. Create a repository. It should now be able to find it already in Azure. I think we need to update it. As you can see, it's not here. So let's just update the page. And we should be able to see it quite soon. Test. It's not here. Let's go back to our previous. Let's go back to our deployment. Let's try to see again if it's here. Still not here, which means that it takes some time in order to fetch it. We can go out of this web app. Now that we have it, we can create it again just to make it really find it this time. We can say test app for YouTube purposes, for example, like that. Again, we will select the .NET 7, do the Linux, and the region. We do North Europe because I'm in Norway at this time. And we can do the different things that we had for free and some redundancy and so on. You remember we had that earlier, but right now we don't have it enabled and we don't need to have it either. So let's just do Norway East and it should show up with the some redundancy option as we had earlier, as you can see here. That's totally fine. Let's do the free again and just go to the database. So it says that database is only available for basic or higher app service plans, which is correct. So it means that we do need to have a little bit different plan in order to work with databases. For us, we don't care so much about this because this is just testing purposes, as you remember. But if we go up, for example, to basic, you will see that database is here and we can create it. Let's go back to the previous and just to the free because it doesn't matter at this point. Go to database. Okay, whatever. Deployment. Okay. And here we can see the GitHub account. Now it should already fetch it if we go to enable. The problem now is that configuring the deployment with GitHub Actions isn't supported because you have selected this operating system, this app service plan, blah, blah, blah. So in order to actually use it, you actually need to have the paying for it. So let's go back and choose the basic. Okay, go to database, go here, and now we can enable it. We're just doing this to actually play around with Azure and see what's going on. This is now creating a resource. There are a lot of steps. I will show you later how you can use a file in order to create this or use PowerShell.